What if I told you the very first verse of the Bible hides a secret so profound, it reveals Jesus in a way you've never seen before? A message coded into the Hebrew text for thousands of years, and almost no one talks about it. But today, I'm going to show you something that will change the way you read Genesis 1:1 forever. Are you ready to uncover the hidden treasures buried in plain sight? Genesis 1:1. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Simple, right? But what if I told you this verse is like an onion? Seemingly simple on the outside, but as you peel back the layers, it reveals a deeper, richer meaning. What seems like just the beginning of creation actually holds a mystery that's been hidden in plain sight. And by the time we're done, you'll see this verse in a way that's both shocking and enlightening. But here's the thing, most people read this verse and think it's just about creation. What if I told you it's so much more? What if this verse is a prophecy, a revelation, and a blueprint for God's entire plan of salvation? Stick with me, because today we're diving deep into the Hebrew text to uncover 3 hidden messages that will blow your mind. But before we get into the hidden messages, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why the Bible starts this way? Why does it begin with "in the beginning"? And why does it use such specific language in the original Hebrew? What if I told you that every word, every letter, and even the placement of those letters was intentional? That's right. God didn't just inspire Moses to write these words. He encoded them with meaning that would only be fully understood thousands of years later. And here's the kicker. What if I told you this verse isn't just about creation? What if it's actually a prophecy of Jesus, his crucifixion, and even the message of salvation, hidden right in the first word? I covered this in a previous video, and if you want to know more about that hidden mystery, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can watch it right after this video. But today, we're going deeper. We're uncovering 3 other hidden messages in Genesis 1:1 that will blow you. First hidden message, Aleph-Tav. Let's start with the first hidden message, Aleph-Tav. In the original Hebrew, Genesis 1:1 reads, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Now here's what's fascinating. Right in the middle of the verse, you'll see the word et. It's made up of 2 Hebrew letters, Aleph and Tav. These are the first and last letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Sound familiar? In Revelation, Jesus says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. In Hebrew, that's Aleph and Tav. This combination appears over 7,000 times in the Old Testament. And it's not just a grammatical marker, it's a direct reference to Jesus. He was there, in the very first verse of the Bible, declaring his eternal presence. But here's where it gets even more mind-blowing. In Hebrew, et is often seen as a grammatical marker, something that doesn't need to be translated. But what if it's more than that? What if it's a divine signature, a way for God to say, I was here from the very beginning. This isn't a coincidence. This is divine design. Think about this. Why would Jesus refer to himself as the Alpha and Omega in Revelation? Because he's making a direct connection back to Genesis 1:1. He's saying, I was there at the beginning, and I'll be there at the end. This is the eternal nature of Christ hidden in plain sight. Second hidden message, Elohim. Now let's move to the second hidden message, Elohim. This is the word used for God in Genesis 1:1, but here's where it gets interesting. In Hebrew, Elohim is a plural word. If it were singular, it would be El. If it were dual, it would be Eloah. But it's Elohim, plural. Why? Some scholars say it's a plural of majesty, a way to emphasize God's greatness. But what if it's more than that? What if it's a hint at the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit? Think about it. From the very beginning, the Bible was already revealing the mystery of the Trinity. And here's something even more fascinating. In Genesis 1:26, God says, Let us make man in our image. Who is he talking to? Himself. The Trinity was present at creation, and it's hinted at in the very first verse. This isn't just a grammatical quirk, it's a revelation of God's nature. But wait, there's more. The word Elohim is used over 2,500 times in the Old Testament, and every time, it's a reminder that God is not just one-dimensional. He's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, three in one. This is the mystery of the Trinity, hidden in plain sight from the very beginning. Third hidden message, the Vav and the cross. Now let's go even deeper. Look at the Hebrew text again. See that tiny letter, Vav? It's the sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it means hook or nail. And where is it placed in Genesis 1:1? Right between the heavens and the earth. This tiny letter is a hook, a nail, connecting heaven and earth. And what does that remind you of? The cross. The nail that pierced Jesus' hands, bridging the gap between heaven and earth. This isn't just a grammatical detail. It's a prophetic picture of the cross, hidden in the very first verse of the Bible. But here's where it gets even more astonishing. The Vav isn't just a connector. In Hebrew, it also represents the number 6. And what happened on the 6th day of creation? God created humanity, the pinnacle of his creation. Now, fast forward to the New Testament. What happened on the 6th day of Jesus' ministry? On Good Friday, Jesus was crucified. This isn't just a coincidence, it's a profound symbolic connection. Just as the 6th day of creation marked the completion of God's work, the 6th day of Jesus' ministry marked the completion of his mission, to bridge the gap between heaven and earth through his sacrifice on the cross. The Vav, this tiny letter, points to Jesus as the ultimate connection between God and humanity. It's a reminder that from the very beginning, God's plan was to restore what was broken and bring us back to him. From the very beginning, God was pointing to Jesus, the Aleph and Tav, the Trinity and Elohim, and the Vav connecting heaven and earth. It's all there. This isn't just a story, it's a revelation. God's plan for salvation was written into creation before time began. If this blew your mind, share this video with someone who also needs to hear this revelation today. Please like and subscribe so the algorithm can show this to others who need to see it. Also, comment below. What are your thoughts after watching this video? And if you haven't already, check out my previous video where I dive deeper into the hidden mysteries of the very first word of the Bible. I'll leave you with one question. Got God?